What
What
up?
up, dogs?
What up? How we
How's it
doing,
going?
sir?
We're vibing.
Nice.
Look, I got the DJI on the cap.
Oh shit, dude's
I
got
was trying to find
game
something to
plan.
like, to just be like here, so I could be like you guys and be like, yeah, I'm a professional with a microphone. But
I mean,
don't.
for my
I got
future
that
golf
stuff.
YouTube channel, this is how I'm gonna wear my mic.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been watching.
I've been seeing the things. I saw this and I was like, oh yeah.
Nice.
What's up, guys?
Well, let's get into it, man. So Buddy is Solana's end-to-end marketing stack designed to become a fully on-chain affiliate network. So really the core protocol offers tools for brands to enhance user acquisition, retention, and enable instant payments, while also equipping influencers and affiliates with tools for instant payouts, transparent for performance, and ultimately optimizing their marketing efforts. So yeah, maybe to kick this off, do you just want to kind of walk us through exactly how Buddy works today and maybe highlight kind of a few of the success stories you've seen so far? Because I think they're pretty illuminating in how Buddy works.
Let me jump
Yeah,
in
for
just
sure.
before you do it. Just hold on.
Do it.
We need to disclose that we are investors in Buddy. We got to be very on top of this stuff. Full disclosure. Very stoked on what Buddy's building. All right, over to you, sir.
This is just a page show. Let's be honest. We're all here for a reason.
Don't give people that, man.
I'm just chasing the Jess beard. Okay, that's all I'm here for. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely give a kind of an overview of what that looks like. So for the TLDR behind Buddy is several years ago, kind of 2019, we thought about how the advertising market was super broken, right? You had attribution kind of being slung around. You had the ads networks just basically not performing. Conversion rates weren't landing. Your ROAS was also just kind of getting extended out. So even if you had return on ad spend that was like 2-3x, it was like only realizing 6 to 12 to 24 months later. So you weren't getting this kind of turnaround in consumerism or just even in general digital products that you normally had. So you had this kind of gap that started forming on kind of every front, on web ads. That was also for mobile ads, with the whole privacy policy stuff with Apple. And then we kind of at the same time, this is me and my cousin, we kind of at the same time had this idea of, well, look at what blockchain is and think of this idea of composability. What if you had one referral link for everything? And what if attribution was finite and it was indefinite, right? You had one profile across everything you ever interacted with, and your attribution would basically follow you anywhere you go. So that's just a little bit of context to kind of bridge us into like the conversation. What we saw when we first started building out this protocol in 2022 was there was a huge rush to build on-chain products. And so we were really excited. We built, this fully on-chain protocol. It basically could integrate with any product, no matter what product vertical, and we could support them no matter what kind of business logic they had. So if you were, a game and you wanted to do referrals for in-game items or anything like that, or if you were a DeFi platform and you want to give a percentage of BIPs as a referral, or if you wanted to do more of a whitelisted ambassador program, you could do any of these things as a business. What we saw actually, though, especially when the bear market hit and a whole bunch of companies got wiped out, was in fact there are not a lot of companies that built on chain, and a lot of companies actually have Web 2 products, and they have like maybe a token on chain, and that's pretty much it. But they'll say that they're very on chain, and so I'm sure you guys know this as VCs. So fast forward, we ended up after about a year of just integrating all kinds of different companies that were startups in the bear that we kind of knew weren't gonna really make it, but we're like, hey, if we can help you get some acquisition, let's run it and learn from it. Fast forward, like 8 months of integrating different companies, and we finally ended up having a chat with Star Atlas. So big game on Solana. They were the most advanced in terms of on-chain logic across their entire portfolio of products. And though everybody always jokes like when game, and we always poke fun at them as well, when game, they had a marketplace, right? That was direct to consumer that they owned. So they could do a really fantastic referral program where they did 25% referral fees and 10%, like it was 25-10 for maker taker. And so that ended up spurring a huge ecosystem resharing, basically reactivation of the ecosystem. And that was probably the most unique thing that we hadn't expected. We thought referrals for user acquisition, so brand new users growth. Instead, what we saw was this referral system ended up actually reactivating a dormant community. And that was like a fantastic. We 100x'd their revenue in the first 30 days that Buddy was plugged in. And then in the first 12 months, they did about 22 million in referred volume through the Buddy protocol. And that's all instant attribution with over $3 million worth of payouts directly to the user. They just go and click claim. It's all attributed directly to them.
I mean, this is throwing back to my early days on the internet, and the number of friends I have that have done well in info products and email lists and some of the craziest stuff. And it's driven off of affiliate revenue. Like the early internet was really driven off of that. And then of course we've had these like explosions of very powerful media distribution networks and the advertising mechanisms that come with them. And yet I think I've heard affiliate models talked about more today than I have probably in the last 5 years, if not longer. What's changed here? Like, why is this like? Is there a new platform shift that's unlocked this, or people sort of pushing their views on how AI is going to monetize on this? Like, how are you grokking the big opportunity here?
It's a super good question, and I think it has too many components to summarize like very briefly. But I would say that Should I take that back? I think you could probably trace it to a couple trends. The first is those ads really not converting, right? So the traditional, acquisition channels are broken, and they have been broken for several years now. We're not talking like a couple. This has been, again, we had this idea since 2019. So we're going on 6 years now of attribution being a total fuckfest. And then you have additionally these obviously emerging technologies. One being, and there's two main ones. There's crypto and then there's AI. And on the AI side, I think, a lot of people just kind of chalk it up to the LLMs. But obviously, if we think about MCP, tooling, et cetera, then you start getting into these agentic frameworks where, well, the whole layer of communication is completely shifting below our feet. And so when you think about that, and then you add on a verifiable identity and attribution framework that you can access through blockchain, you put those two together and you're starting to see a complete disruption of what exists. And especially those, content creators and things like that, as the shift has gone towards them, at first it was large content creators that were getting the biggest brand deals, et cetera. Now we're seeing micro influencers seeing the highest conversion rates. So from a performance marketing perspective, you're targeting those guys. If you're an e-com business or anything like that, you're targeting these micro influencers who are niche and their audience convert at a much higher clip. What's still missing though is, and this is the whole thesis that we come to the table with, is there's still no verifiable attribution happening in Web 2. And so the only way that you can actually know that, said content creator actually is doing the numbers that they're saying, that their stat sheet actually is accurate, and that they actually have done the brand deals that they say they've done, is through verifiability. And so that's where we start looking at, okay, you have to start combining a lot of these different elements. So that's what we did, but I think that's why the trend is still going in that direction. Even if you're doing, questing platforms or any of those sorts, it's still trying to solve the same problem, which is conversion rates suck, and the Web 2 systems are really broken. Now you have alternative means of cash payment, and you can do it at a much more verifiable clip.
Got it. I'm curious how. So a lot of your go-to-market strategy is actually targeting Web 2 brands, especially realizing the limited audience of Web 3 brands, especially ones doing stuff on chain. So I'm curious how legible this value prop actually is to people who understand crypto less or just care less.
Man, it's a super great question. So I think there's always two bets that you're making whenever you're starting up a company, right? It's like, I think first time founders obviously focus on the product, second time founders focus on distribution, third time founders focus on distribution, right? It's the forever joke. And yeah, you could say we're in the latter bucket for sure. And what I think is very interesting when you think about distribution, when you think about affiliate referral networks or any of that sort of thing, we know that they're broken in the Web 2 side. We hear that from every person, the individual, sole proprietor content creator, to the ads network genius, to the social media influencer agency cohort. All of them unanimously are like, I'm not getting what I'm owed, conversion rates suck, and I can't even really influence how people are converting on these products. And so when you take all of those things and you combine them together and you look at what the broad scope of the challenge is, it's pretty evident that e-commerce is going to have to shift, because if all parties are frustrated with the results and that margins are getting lower, ROAS is only turning over like every 2-3 years, you're just not going to get a fast enough velocity of an economy, right? The velocity of that dollar needs to move way faster than it is currently. And obviously payment rails on blockchain have proven to be exceptionally fast and reducing tickets of major companies by 30-40% on pilots, which is just significant, right? The overhead changes, the velocity of money changes, and in a consumerist society, it's very obvious that that's the direction that they would go. And also, from my research and everything that I know, e-com is one of the most adaptable markets, full stop. And so when we look at that, what is e-com in Web3? It's zero, right? Like it's NFTs and pump.fun. So then you have all of the Web2 brands, and you're looking at Shopify, you're looking at all these massive e-com groups, and you're like, okay, if stable coins and the Genius Act in the US are starting to take shape, very quickly all the other regulated economies are going to follow. Those guys are going to adapt to accepting stable coins, and Stripe even allows a merchant to settle in fiat now. So you can receive crypto, settle fiat. So their COGS are now, their cost of goods are now covered, right? So they don't have an issue with this, with the back and forth. So if you're kind of end to end solving these different problems for the merchant to be able to accept crypto, it's kind of naturally, we're going to go move in the direction where, I mean, even Amazon is going to launch their own stablecoin, things like that. So it's just inevitable that we're going to move in this direction where money moves faster and you need more verifiable attribution. AI is going to completely take up every single pipeline possible. It's already doing that. So you need to have verifiable users that you trust that you're going to actually convert. And the only thing that AI can't change is taste. You cannot challenge a human being's taste. So if you're going to follow a person and they're going to recommend you a product, that is the highest likelihood that you're going to convert. So I think that's sort of why we're seeing everything move in this direction overall.
What a great place to leave it. I think you just articulated the opportunity that gives you the glint in your eye, and I know you guys are running it. What's the best place to direct people to where they can follow along, or is there something they can go do today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, join Buddy.link on Twitter. Check us out there. If you want to shoot me a DM, I'm at the Moon Boots on Twitter as well. And let me know how I can help.
Awesome. Aidan from
Thanks for
Buddy.
jumping on, man.
Thanks, guys.